Alright guys, this is a little update in the greenhouse where Bob starts all of his plants. We gave you a video last time on the garden introduction, but this is what it looks like now. I think just like 10 days later, I believe, maybe a little bit longer.
These are the Selkie Biodynamic cherry tomatoes, started under a Aquarian sun, Aries moon. You see how big and healthy all of them are. Of course, there's nothing in the league with the one you just saw. You want to show them that one, Kurt, please?
Yeah.
These are our 1997 Ratatouille seeds. The plants from the 1997 seed. We have no more 1997 seed, which was an exceptional year. We have a 98. Where's the 98s, Bob? Are these 98s?
98 rat.
These are the 98 Ratatouilles. But we have plenty of 98 Ratatouille seeds. We're going to try to make all our Ratatouille seeds this year from the 97 seed. It was so exceptional. And we'll be making them here at Bob's garden, not at the Elm Street garden, because of many reasons which I don't want to go into. One major problem there is controlling which tomatoes we're going to use, because you have 60 staff with the gardeners, and even if you mark them, they're in such a hurry to get their produce and get back to their group homes that even if you mark them, you're going to lose a lot of your seed tomatoes. Here at Bob's garden, we have complete control over what tomatoes we're going to make use for seed, and that is the advantage of having this garden. In fact, all these 97 and 98 Ratatouille seeds were made here at Bob Cummins' garden.
So what else we got going on over here?
Here's our early. We called it a pear plum, but the chefs in the restaurants we sold to liked the circular form better, so now we call it the Elm Street early. It was formerly the Biodynamic pear plum. You'll notice how well it does in these old tin cans. The reason for this, I believe, is the paper on the tin can controls the temperature. It doesn't let it get too hot or too cold. All right, what else do we have? These are Ratatouilles. What year are these, Bob? Are these 97s?
Yeah.
97s, and again, this is the last of our 97 seed, and it was an exceptional year. Now, this is 2010, so the seed is 13 years old.
Anything else besides tomatoes?
We're going to start our... No, that's
We got
it.
cucumbers.
Well, I had started some cucumbers a while back in these pots that are hanging. And right here is a few cucumbers that I just transplanted recently, and there's a few more down there behind LA right now.
Here's some basil here.
Nice.
There's a pumpkin there that I've started that came from an 800-pound pumpkin.
800-pound pumpkin.
That's where that seed came from, and I started that. I'll plant one or two of those. They take up a lot of room. And this is basil right here that I planted from my own seed that I made last year. And pretty soon LA's going to start a bunch of squash. We'll have those seeds in here.
But we're really not interested, from our perspective, on using any seed but our tomato seed. And for the purpose of these videos, we're going to stick with the tomatoes, simply because we don't want to branch out into many different areas.
Well, personally, I want to branch out everyone we can, because I like to save the seeds from our own natural plants.
The problem is, like on pepper plants, you need about 500 feet separation.
We're gonna branch out for you guys.
We can't branch out. It's a geographical impossibility. We don't have the distances to stop the seeds from crossing.
All right.
We might do it anyways, though, right, Bob?
I'm going to do what I've been doing, and that's get us the seeds I can.
Again, the problem is let's take a sunflower. A sunflower can cross within 3 miles of another sunflower.
Well, for instance, I've had yellow wax beans, and that's the only type of beans I plant up here. And I got my own seeds since 1997.
Right, and we use red runner bean seeds that are about 15, 16 years old in the Elm Street garden. But that's all we can put in there. We can't put any other species of beans because they're crossed. But for teaching the higher knowledge, for teaching what this is about, if you get greedy and you want to learn this, that, and the other thing without knowing the basics of spiritual science, then it can be confusing. It's great to plant everything. We plant everything. But I like in these videos to stick to our tomatoes. If I could teach you how to do our tomatoes, how the seed works, where the seed comes from, you can learn the whole origin of the universe. Now, if I start going into potatoes with you, if I start going into our carrots with you, we're going in a different direction. So, for the purpose
No, I don't agree with that, LA, because there's different kinds. You're not just going to have tomatoes in your life. People are going to want to grow other things besides tomatoes.
I didn't say you're not just going to have tomatoes.
Well, for instance, we use our own garlic. I've had red garlic here for many, many years. I use my own seeds. We use your own seeds for garlic.
Yeah, we have a elephant garlic that's...
Please don't let the people think that you're just using seeds out of the tomatoes. And that's
No, of course not. We have our elephant garlic seed that's over 20 years old. Elephant garlic cloves that are over 20 years old. We have our red garlic, which is about 15 or 16 years old. We have our red runner beans. We have our butternut squash, which is probably our oldest and strongest seed, which is over 35 years old. But for me to teach you of your immortality, of the world you lived in before you were born and the world you go in after you quote-unquote die, it would be simple if I just stick to one vegetable. We can show you how to plant everything.
I don't understand the concept what you just said.
100 years from now, you're not going to be here. You're going to be someplace else. And if I could use these tomatoes to orient you to the world you're going to be in 100 years from now, you gain something, you win something for your soul that you otherwise wouldn't have. I would like you to begin learning the whole purpose of all this, carrots, tomatoes, everything, is not just the great produce, that's secondary. That you learn that death does not exist for humans. You live before you came into a physical body and you'll live afterward. And that's my purpose.
I can get down with that.
I don't understand that colloquial expression you just used. Will you repeat it?
Colloquial.
I just want to make the people know that it's not my opinion that the pear plum or the early did good in the tin cans because it didn't have a wrapper on it, because that's just, I don't agree with that at all. Lots of those cans don't have wrappers on it, and I think maybe LA is just a little bit off base on this one. I don't know.
I could be wrong, but I don't think I am, because I have noticed those in tin cans without labels tend to burn. But maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. That's irrelevant. The relevancy is that you know, you learn before you go to the other side that you're not dying. So when you do go to the other side, you don't become disoriented. That's my purpose. Now I've chosen the tomato to do it with. We plant everything like Bob said, and Bob's right. You need a great diversity in your garden. You want to grow all your vegetables.
Anything you can possibly grow naturally, that's what you want to do. Any seeds that you can make. I'm not saying to a seed company, in my opinion, it's just an opinion, is trying to rule the world seed.
Well, obviously the genetically engineered seed companies are trying to control the world food chain. If we all had to buy our seeds from genetically engineered seed companies and couldn't make our own, they would control the food chain. It's a no-brainer.
That's why I'm a big believer in saving seeds, making seeds every year, catalog them, package them properly so they keep dry.
Which we do, and that's what I do. But as a teaching tool, I'd like just to use the tomatoes with you, particularly the silky biodynamic cherry tomato. Bob's absolutely right. We plant everything and we make seeds of the plants that we can when the spacing's right. But again, I am more interested in where you're going to be 100 years from now. What are you going to do in the spiritual world when you're not gardening? Through gardening, you can learn of the spiritual world. Cut.
I didn't know we were going to get that today, but I'm glad we did. But alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the update, and I'll be getting you some more videos here soon. Please leave your comments and questions below. Thanks.